At this point, your team should be pretty solid. You should just be picking up players to make a playoff run. This is one of those weeks where if you can't get it done this week, it's time to do some soul searching. Welcome to Pigskin Passion TV. And it's your boy, the Black Mamba. It's season 3, episode 115. And guys, we back. We back for another week of fantasy football. And guys, your boy now has the longest winning streak in the league at 6 games. That's right, I'm on a 6-game heater. As much as I wish I could say my team showed up, I think it was more about how the other team had some of the worst performances I've ever seen in fantasy football. No player on his team had over 7 points. These are some of the most putrid numbers I have ever seen. Normally you can put a score up like this in fantasy football, but it's one player that at least has double digits, or you have a couple of players, but not the entire team. I mean, 42 points. Man, if I was the manager of this team, I probably would be considering retiring from fantasy football right now. But hey guys, you can only beat who's put before you. So this week I got a stiffer test, and I'm actually playing the team that has only lost 1 game, and he also has the most points in the league. So hey, I have a 6-game winning streak. He has a 4-game winning streak. We're gonna see who has the best team this week. But with that said, let's jump into these waiver wire pickups for this week. At this point, your team should be pretty solid. You should just be picking up players to make a playoff run. And speaking of picking up players to make a playoff run, I'm really feeling bad about my quarterback position here. I got Joe Flacco. I picked up Joe Burrow, and I thought that was a genius move, but they lost this weekend, so they keep losing. I don't see Joe coming back. And I got Marcus Mariota. This probably was about his ceiling. So this is what I'll be looking at quarterback, anywhere between, on an average, between 17 and probably 20, 22 points. But enough said about that, guys. If you're looking for a quarterback, I don't know if he would be available in your league. He's not in my league. Jacoby Brissett would be a guy that you probably want to go out there and get. He's been balling since Kyler Murray's been out. He's been a top 12 quarterback in his last 5 starts. Last week, he threw for 452 yards against San Francisco 49ers. I think it's looking like he's going to be the starter even when Murray comes back, but we'll see. Another guy I'm not so high on, but if you're in a pickle, you got to get what's out there, and that's Kirk Cousins. Michael Penix, he's going to be out for 4 games. Cousins probably could finish the regular season based on what is going on with the Falcons, but I'm not sure he's going to be any better than what you've seen with Michael Penix. But if you're in a pickle, you got to give him a chance. He does have some studs on the team. I don't know if London's going to play this week, but he has a running back who can catch the ball out the backfield and run routes. So give him a try. At running back, Emanuel Wilson with the Green Bay Packers. Josh Jacobs got hurt on Sunday. And if he sits out anytime, I like Mr. Wilson as a plug and play. He was clearly the number 1 running back on Sunday. I think he'd definitely be a good play this week because the Vikings, they give up the 10th most rushing yards to running backs. Beyond that, I don't know. I mean, they got a pretty tough schedule as far as running back friendly defenses. But at the very least, if Jacobs is out, he's going to be a running back who's going to get the volume. Look like he's the clear number 1 running back. So Emanuel Wilson would be my number 1 pick if I needed a running back. And I got a couple of other guys on here. Jaleel, McLaughlin with the Denver Broncos. The Broncos offense is kind of quirky. I don't know how to put it. The running game doesn't look really good, and the passing game seems a little off, but somehow they put up numbers. And J.K. Dobbins is out for the season. So this backfield isn't one that will have you shaking in your boots, But I think the way Sean Payton runs his offense with a multiple running back situation, I think that's what's going to happen with this going forward. And it looks like McLaughlin might be the guy who punches it in. He was able to run a short touchdown. I think it was from 1 or 2 yards on Sunday. So he's another running back. I like this guy, Sean Tucker with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He looked really good on Sunday. And based on his performance, he should see more playing time. And speaking of playing time, Bucky Irvin should be back soon. So with that said, Tucker will probably get more playing time. How much, I don't know, because if Irvin comes back, he's going to get the bulk of the carries. But I think Tucker deserves to be picked up. And he showed that if given the chance, he can tote the rock. He's definitely a number 2, number 1 type running back. I just don't know how much playing time he's going to get going forward with Irvin coming back. Another guy is Kenneth Gainwell with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he was the featured back after Jalen Warren got hurt on Sunday. And he's proven he can be a good featured back. He's done it in one start this season where he had I think he had maybe 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he really looked good running the rock. I think he will be the main guy mixing it in with Caleb Johnson, the rookie, but I'm sure he'll get the bulk of the carries. So Kenneth Gainwell is another guy. If he's available in your league, you may want to give him a try. I have a couple of wide receivers here. Michael Wilson with the Arizona Cardinals. And he was Arizona's number 1 wide receiver on Sunday with Marvin Harrison being out. He had a monster day with 15 catches for 185 yards. And he's flourished since Jacoby Brissett has been the quarterback. So even when Harrison comes back, it should be still enough room or enough on the plate for both of these receivers to eat. The other guy who impressed me on Sunday was Tyrell Shavers with the Buffalo Bills. He had his best game as a pro with 90 yards and a touchdown. And he was in the lineup because Keon Coleman is in the doghouse and he got suspended for missing a meeting. So it's quite possible he could stay ahead of Mr. Coleman on the depth chart. If his role remains or grows, I think he could become a gem in your lineup. So I would go out there and scoop him and kind of see how these next couple of weeks go. If Coleman is going to be able to get back out on the field. And at tight end is Brenton Strange. He's been on IR. So if you need a tight end, which a lot of you guys probably do with some of these injuries that have been going on, he's not going to be on anyone's radar simply because he hasn't played yet. Travis Hunter is out for the season. Brian Thomas Jr., he's been injured and ineffective. So he could easily be the best Jaguar receiver on the field when he comes back. Scoop him up if you need a tight end. And as always, guys, I stream my defenses. And I'm actually good this week with my defense. I had Baltimore last week against the Cleveland Browns. But if you need a defense this week, I would go with the Las Vegas Raiders. And guys, what do the Raiders and Baltimore have in common? Baltimore played Cleveland last week. The Las Vegas Raiders will be playing Cleveland this week. The Raiders actually have a pretty good defense. They haven't been bad this year, but they just can't win games. They can't stay off the field. And this is one of those weeks where if you can't get it done this week, it's time to do some soul searching because the Cleveland Browns are in town. And the Browns, they rank 31st in total yards per game. They average a putrid 159 yards passing every game. That's pretty bad. Those issues aren't likely to get any better. They're probably going to get worse because Dylan Gabriel won't play this week and Shedeur Sanders will be the starter. I'm not going to go through Shedeur's stats. Let's just say he had a bad game last weekend. So this is a high floor to a top off the ceiling potential game for the Raiders defense. With that said, if I had to go out there and get me a defense, I'd be chomping at the bits to get the Las Vegas Raiders. And guys, there you have my waiver wire pickups. I hope I threw some gems on the ground for you to pick up. If I did, do me a favor, spike that like. comment, subscribe. And it's your boy, the Black Mamba, out.